Now, it's been 5 years almost since the Naruto manga ended. A lot of fans till this day still wonder and speculate as to what was the main reason why Masashi Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto, decided to basically put down the manga, finish it, not continue it. There was a lot of speculation, but based on this right here, I think that this is one of the major, if not the most important reasons why he decided to finish the Naruto story and take a long break. Let's talk about it.
Whether Facebook, Twitter, or the two, make sure to steer clear, cause I'm coming through like...
Now, it was November of 2014 when the Naruto manga ended, leaving fans very, very sad because, if you've been following Naruto for many years up to that point, you're like, damn, it's crazy, it's over. Now, the creator of Naruto, there was a lot of talks back then. I remember reading a lot of articles and interviews where Shueisha was actually asking him, can you please continue the story? So I'm imagining they would have wanted him to continue the story via like the last era where, another 2 or 3 year time skip or whatnot, or hell, even with Boruto. And while there was talks of things, they were talking about potentially basically doing a remake where like Boruto would have been essentially a remake of the Naruto story. Masashi Kishimoto said no. He said, no, I'm not doing it no more. I'm sorry. He ended up handing over the story, which again later became Boruto, to one of his, assistants that worked on the manga of Naruto since chapter 7. And that's the person, Ukyo Kodachi, I want to say, that is actually doing the Naruto manga right now. But he decided like, yo, I'm done. And again, a lot of people were like, well, what's the real reason? Did he get sick of the story? Was it overwork? Or what was going on? And we got what was Masashi Kishimoto's work schedule. Now, a lot of you know that mangaka, they work incredibly crazy hours. Eiichiro Oda has been quoted at some given point of saying he works like 20 to 21 hours a day, almost every day, which is why also they had to start giving him that break where One Piece takes like, a week off here or there, because it was outrageous. And now that I got this, and we're going to check it out in a second, this is Masashi Kishimoto's work schedule that he had throughout his serialization of Naruto. Now, we'll talk about what's different now, why he came back and he's doing Samurai 8, because, he got a new series out. In case you haven't checked it out, that shit is fire, it's crazy, but, it's very telling of, again, the strenuous work that it takes to create a serialized weekly manga. Let's take a look at it. Fans often say, I want my monthly manga to be released weekly. But what kind of rigid and grueling schedule would it actually entail for the mangaka? Here's his translation for Kishimoto's scheduling from when he was actively serializing weekly in Weekly Shonen Jump for Naruto. And this was in Jump Ryu 2016 Kishimoto edition, the booklet interview excerpt. During that time, the day and week of Masashi Kishimoto. This is Kishimoto sensei's time schedule from when he was serializing Naruto. On the days when he had to ink the sketches, he would even spend a total of 19 hours at his desk under these hard conditions. During the preparation of the manuscript, sketching, rough draft, inking, he'd work 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Then he'd sleep from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. 3 hours of sleep. Ooh, wow. Yo. Then 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. working again. 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. lunch, so he'd take an hour break. 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. again 9 hours more working. And then 11 p.m. to 12 a.m. dinner and bath time, which daily total will be 79.2% of his day is working, 12.5% of his day is sleeping, and 8.3% of his day is eating and bathing. So basically almost 80% of his day when he was doing the sketching and rough draft and inking would be working. What? That's not even reasonable at all, but let's keep going. During the preparation of the storyboard, the planning and conceptualization, from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m., he'd be working. Then he would sleep a good 6 hours, which, okay, that's not that bad right there. 6 hours rest is okay. But then again, if you think about the grueling schedule that he would have ahead of him, 6 hours really ain't all that. Then 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., searching for resources, materials, and watching videos, getting a little bit of an understanding, maybe watching one of the old ForneverWorld Naruto chapter. No, I ain't shit. Then 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., lunch and cleaning. 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., working again. 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., dinner and bath time, which would equal 58.3% working, researching, 25% sleeping, and 16.7% eating, bathing, and cleaning. So again, 60% of his day would be working almost. Weekly overview, Monday through Thursday would be the scheduling, rough draft, and inking. Friday to Saturday would be the storyboard and planning. So basically, his weekdays were almost always 80% working. 80% of his week was work, and then the weekend, 60% of it was work. That's freaking crazy. If the work on the storyboard was unfinished, often oftentimes he may not even rest on Sundays because he would take Sunday to basically rest up. He would leave it blank. But if the work wasn't done, then Sundays would be his work day too, which in total would equal 57% of his week was drawing, 29% planning, and up to 14% of personal time. So pretty much it would be what, 70, 80, 86% of his week was working. Honestly, that's not reasonable in any sense at all. Like that's just not. Like if you look at it in any which way, like this is why a lot of these creators end up getting sick, end up getting injured somehow. I believe was the author of World Trigger, he like broke his wrist, and to this day I think, did he come back yet or they switched him to another magazine? But he got injured. Let me not get started with Yoshihiro Togashi. Like I would argue that gave him some mental trauma. Like he ended up in a hospital. He had to end Yu Yu Hakusho, his previous series, to Hunter x Hunter because he was just like fed up with it. He came back, and then we see what we get with Hunter x Hunter. We get like what, 10 15 chapters a year or something like that. This is not healthy by any means. This should not even exist, to be honest with you. Now, people are like, well, wait a minute, he came back, right? He's doing Samurai 8, so it couldn't have been that strenuous. Well, the main reason why he came back with Samurai 8, and initially, from what I remember, again, I was reading every interview and every article, he wasn't even planning on coming back to Shonen Jump Weekly. He was actually going to do like a quarterly magazine, but at the end of the day, if you think about it, where was that really going to go? He had high expectations and has high expectations, I'd imagine, for Samurai 8. If it was in a quarterly magazine or a bi-monthly magazine, it was not really going to pop. I mean, it's possible. We've had monthlies blow up before, but I just didn't really see it, especially if it was going to be a shonen. So he came back to Weekly Shonen Jump, but the catch is, in case you didn't know, he's not the one doing the art. He does the story, and he has one of his previous assistants, I want to say from Naruto, doing the art. So if you think about it, that probably cuts his time to a fraction of what he used to have to spend working, and now he actually gets to live his life. And to be honest with you, I think from here on forward, and God knows if it'll ever happen or how long it'll take for it to happen, based on all of this, the fact that these mangaka become slaves, that is no joke. That is a slave to your work. If you're spending 80-something% of your week working, that is slave to your work. I think moving forward, most manga, if not all manga, especially that are done weekly, they need a team. And what I mean by a team, because of course all of them have teams, but I mean in particular what a lot of mangaka are starting to do, and that's somebody handles the art, somebody handles the story. I think Dr. Stone does that. I want to say The Promised Neverland does that. That must be a staple. It needs to become a staple because, like, just imagine. And don't get me wrong, Naruto was awesome, it was a cool ending and everything, but for people that wanted more, if Shueisha really wanted more, how much more we could have gotten, and maybe we would never got Boruto, or it could have been just, well, don't get me wrong, Boruto manga has become amazing, but just imagine if he had, okay, somebody doing the art and he was doing the story, or, you know, something along the lines of that. Naruto could have kept going, he could have kept it pushing or whatever, but the fact that he didn't have that extra help is what ultimately led to him saying, yo, I can't do this no more. And if you just read majority of mangaka, especially Yoshihiro Togashi, creator of Hunter x Hunter, they always complain about they can't handle the workload. It's too stressful for them. And this is an example of why. Like, that is unacceptable, to be honest with you. And I'm hoping at some given point in the near future, the anime and manga world changes. Because to be honest with you, based on what I've seen, animators don't have it that much better. In fact, they have it a lot worse because they make, what, $900 a month, and they work 80 hours a week. So animators don't have it much better, and they get way less than Masashi Kishimoto. At least him, more than likely he's a millionaire. He's set for life. But still, that is ridiculous, and that also makes the content suffer. How much can you really get done in a high capacity and a high level of thinking and, you know, putting a lot of thought into everything when you're there just, you're a zombie? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need inspiration. You need to go outside and talk with people, you know, research things, not just in your studio all day long 80% of your week. That's really, I don't know. Things like this kind of get me upset just because I'm like, they are killing themselves for our entertainment, because remember, we're the ones that get it. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure at this point majority of them know what they're signing up for, but still at some given point I think it needs to be mandatory that a mangaka, if they're going to be in a weekly magazine like this with this type of schedule, that they don't do both. Somebody needs to handle art, somebody needs to handle the writing, because this is, honestly, it's unacceptable, and I feel bad for any mangaka. Like, look at Oda, Eiichiro Oda, creator of One Piece, 20-something hours a day working. Like, thankfully they give him a break, but not every mangaka gets that same luxury. What about the people that their manga don't even pop and they work, like, you know, they do 120 chapters, 200 chapters, they never even get an anime adaptation, they barely make money, and they've been working this type of schedule? That's too much. Kind of curious what you guys think about this though. Do you think there was a possibility if Naruto was split in half with Kishimoto writing the story and doing the drafts or whatever for, you know, rough sketches, and somebody did the art, Naruto would have kept going, he would have not stopped it? I'm sure there was somewhere in there as well that he kind of got tired of writing that story, which is why he came up with Samurai 8, which again, you should check that bad boy out. It's really good. But yeah, your thoughts on this? Do you think that maybe the answer to all of this is making it regulated and mandatory, that in order to be in Shonen Jump has to make it where you can't do both? Somebody has to do the art, somebody has to do the story, because that's unacceptable. And yeah, just wanted to bring this to you guys. This is probably the main reason why Masashi Kishimoto ended Naruto. That's all I have for this one though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in.
Enjoy the next ride, but I was the best ride. But I hope you know that when